Hi everybody and welcome back to a new video on my channel. My name's Leora and I make content about books, reading, writing and sometimes other stuff as well. I'm really happy you're here because today I'm going to be talking about a bunch of books that I would really love to pick up this winter, and more specifically these are all fantasy books. It's just one of the best feelings in the world to cuddle up and read about a whole different world, to escape to that world. It's one of my favourite things, so I can't wait to share a bit of that love with you guys and show you some of the books that are on my radar right now. More accurately so, I just perused my shelves looking for fantasy books I really want to pick up, or maybe I've been wanting to read them for a while. There's also some newer releases in here, so don't worry, there is something for every fantasy reader in this pile, hopefully. I briefly want to mention that I'm not great with TBRs and I would view this very loosely as a TBR. It's just books that would be great if I read them this winter. You know, I'm just excited to read these type of books this winter. So let's dive into this ambitious pile. I dropped the pile and talk about some fantasy reads. So firstly, we have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I was very excited for this when it came out, but then I just never picked it up. That's also because there was a lot of controversy with this book and that kind of put me off of it. So I've read Naomi Novik's Uprooted. It's in fact one of the first fantasy books I read when I got back into reading. I think that was in 2017 or 2018. And I really enjoyed Uprooted. It's such a sort of slow going but interesting fantasy story, and it had all of those like magical library elements that I really adore. And this book is about a magical school. It says on the back, enter a school of magic unlike any you've ever encountered. There are no teachers, no holidays, friendships are purely strategic, and the odds of survival are never equal. Once you're inside, there are only two ways out. You graduate or you die. Elle Higgins is uniquely prepared for the school's many dangers. She may be without allies, but she possesses a dark power strong enough to level mountains and wipe out untold millions. Never mind easily destroy the countless monsters that prowl the school. Except she might accidentally kill all the other students too, so Elle is trying her hardest not to use it. That is, unless she has no other choice. So I think one of the main critiques of this book is that our main character is Indian, I believe, and the author is white. And there were lots of people not too happy with the representation in this book. Naomi Novik also really tried to make the cast as diverse as possible, and there's this whole discussion on like, is it the place of white authors to tell these stories, you know, of specifically being a person of colour? That's a whole different discussion. That's not really the purpose of this video, but I did briefly want to mention so that you know why this book is so controversial. Well, it's not that controversial. There's been discussion about it. And in my surroundings, there's been people that really love this book and there's been people that despise it. So that also made me go like, I'm not sure whether I will like it. But after reading Babel by Eric Kwong, which I think is like everything this book was trying to be, or at least that's what I read in some reviews, I am a bit intrigued anyway, just because like I want to read more magic school books and I'm like in that mood now, and I own it anyway, so it seems to be a waste to not read it. And I know that my library also has copies of the follow-up novels if I do like this one. And because I also have enjoyed Naomi Novik's previous work, I still really want to read it. Then after that one, we have a really small, tiny fantasy book. It's so cute. This is a short story by Philip Pullman. This is Lyras Oxford, which is a magical story from the world of His Dark Materials. His Dark Materials is one of my favourite fantasy series. Some of you may know the movie if you're not familiar with the books. The movie is called The Golden Compass. Also, an HBO show was made out of it, which I've also watched. Not entirely though. I watched like almost all of season 1, then I just sort of quit right before the finale. I don't know what's wrong with me either. This happens to me so much more often than is logical. I did the same thing with House of the Dragon. I've watched like 2 episodes and it's not that I didn't like it, it's not that I didn't want to continue, but I just really haven't. I don't know why. So this story is set 2 years after the conclusion of His Dark Materials, and Lyra is still living at Oxford, and one day a strange daemon comes from the sky, a bird, and he's looking for a cure for his witch's disease because his witch because his witch is having a really strange disease and he's trying to save her. I'm really excited for this because I loved the witches in His Dark Materials, like one of my favourite sort of groups of people in that world. So I'm really excited to see if they play a bigger role in this short story. And yeah, Oxford is just a great setting all around. So I do really want to pick this up. And then we have a graphic novel I really want to pick up this winter, and this is also having to do with the sponsor of this video. So today's video is being kindly sponsored by Maverick, which is Mad Cave Studios' young adult imprint. They have been releasing many great young adult graphic novels with that imprint. I've been sharing a few of them on my channel. I've also been working with them for a while, and I'm just really excited to share yet another one. This is In the Shadow of the Throne by Kate Sheridan, Gaia Cardinali, and Micah Myers. This has come out this past October. I've heard that if you like Mooncakes or Squire, you will love this one, and it's also queer. And that just made me really excited because Mooncakes is one of my favorite graphic novels. It's so cute. So in this story, you follow Jordan, and his family is becoming a bit too much on vacation. Like, he just can't take it. You know what it's like when you're a teen and you go on vacation with your family. It's just not the best thing. So he tries to get some space. This is something I've regularly done in my life as well on holiday. But instead of just wandering about the museum, he accidentally drops into a fantasy world, which has never happened to me on vacation. Very upset about it. I wish that had happened to me. This fantasy world is everything he's ever dreamed of. He can train to become a knight, and he even falls in love with a prince from this other world. But of course, there's also evil on the loom, and there's this sinister secret that the queen is trying to hide. It's said to be a slow burn romance with like a lot of introspective moments and blushing and awkwardness. So that sounds really like a lot of fun. And on top of all that, the art is again stunning. It's been a while since I've read like a full-on fantasy graphic novel, so I'm also just really excited to dive into something like that. It looks so good. Can't wait to read it. So if I've sparked your interest, definitely check out Maverick and their other graphic novels as well. You can get 10% off with my code LEO10, which is always very handy. And another option, if you would like to read this book, is to participate in our giveaway, because me and Maverick are holding another giveaway. So subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Maverick's YouTube channel, and let me know in the comments down below why you would like to win a copy of In the Shadow of the Throne. The giveaway is open worldwide. If you live in the US, we can send you a physical copy, and if you live anywhere else, we will send you a digital copy. I hope you guys will also pick up this graphic novel with me this winter. Really exciting. We can read it together. So definitely check out Maverick with my code LEO10. And again, thank you so much to Maverick for sponsoring my content and enabling me to create stuff on here for you guys, which is just really nice. The next fantasy read I really want to pick up this winter is A Far Wilder Magic by Alison Soft. This has not been on my radar that long. I believe I saw it on like some full-time read lists, but I feel like this could also be a good read for winter. It's just because I love reading fantasy in the winter, so I'm trying to bend it all and being like, yeah, but I can also read it during the winter. It's fine. The tagline is an intoxicating love story set against a mythical hunt. And the art inside this book, like the title headings and the map in the front. Oh, this is what I love most about fantasy books, when they do like a good map. In this story, we follow Maggie Welton, who lives at the edge of town in this big gothic manor, and one day she sees the Hala, and the Hala is this sort of mythical fox creature, and every time when the Hala is seen, the Half Moon Hunt will soon follow, and the whole village will try and hunt down the Hala. Maggie is the best sharpshooter in town, and she definitely wants to earn the fame and riches that come with capturing the Hala, but in order to win, she definitely needs some help from an alchemist, and that is where Wes Winters comes in. They make a very unlikely pair, but they're constantly drawn to each other, and together they try and kill the Hala as they uncover some strange town secrets and maybe even some evil magic. The art on the cover of this book and inside is stunning, and it just sounds so good. The only thing is that I've been waiting to get back into the fantasy romance mood, because that just hasn't happened yet. I do feel like fantasy a lot, but not romance yet. So I'm just waiting for that mood to sort of come back to me so I can finally pick up this book, because I'm very excited about it and it just sounds like such a fun read. The next book on my list is honestly a brick of a book, and it's maybe also one of the newest releases on here. This is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. It is so heavy to hold up. It's just so big. I got sent this copy by Lyras, which is one of the main Dutch book suppliers. Thank you so much, Lyras. So this is the Dutch copy. Haven't read such a big book in Dutch for a very long time, but I do notice that a lot of the times it's somehow easier for me to get into a book when it's my mother tongue. Maybe it's just because it's like the language I speak most apart from work. I have never read any Stephen King. I do own quite a bit of Stephen King, and there's some books of his that I do want to read, like Misery is a book I really want to pick up one day. I have this outrageous 80s copy, which is just so fun to look at. But I think, apart from that, if I were to pick up any Stephen King, it will probably be fantasy, even though I do also read horror, but I was just drawn to this one particularly. So in this story, we follow Charlie Reed, and he's just an average high school boy. But his life is a bit tragic because his mother died when he was 10 years old in a car crash, and his dad is a bit of an alcoholic, so he doesn't have the easiest home life. When he's 17, he befriends this strange man that lives atop of a hill and his dog, and he spends lots of time with them. The man is very weird, and he has this barn and strange sounds are coming from the barn. Charlie doesn't know what's going on with the barn. So the man that lives atop of the hill, Howard Bowditch, eventually dies and Charlie takes over caring for his dog. But next to that, Bowditch also leaves Charlie a little cassette tape where he tells him an absolute outrageous story that Charlie at first doesn't believe, but as it turns out, there's a portal to another world in the barn, and that's where all the weird sounds were coming from. This just sounds so good. It sounds like the most silly idea, like, okay, a portal to another world in a barn, but I've heard many good things about this. Funnily enough, it reminds me a bit of Lock and Key, because in there's also some portals to other worlds and like this whole discovery in strange places, and I think Lock and Key was written by Stephen King's son. I'm not sure if I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, really excited to pick this up. It's quite a commitment, but I do feel like picking this up like right now, so I'm really excited about it. Then, when I was looking at my bookshelves, I found this book. I kind of forgot I owned this, which is really ridiculous, but it just happens, you know, it happens to the best of us. So I saw it again and I was like, right, I was really excited for this once upon a time, so I should probably pick it up. So this story is set at Montvere, which is this elusive, strange academy set away in the mountains. All of the students there are being trained for the Grand Jeu, which is this sort of arcane, occult, magical contest that takes place each year. Leo Martin was once a student at the academy, but he sort of lost his passion because a violent tragedy has happened having to do with the Grand Jeu. But because his political career is kind of in tatters, he's exiled to this place and he returns as a disgraced student. But when he gets there, things have really changed. Yes, another magic school book. It's just what I crave right now. I can't help it. As I've probably mentioned many a times before, the cover is absolutely stunning. Look at that spine. It looks so beautiful. I really should prioritize this read. Since I've been wanting to read it for such a long time and I've still not been put off by it, I should just read it like right now. But there's so many books I want to read. Another book that I really want to pick up soon is The Poppy-Wa by Arif Kwong. Since I've read Babel, I've just really been wanting to read this because now I know that me and Arif Kwong, we vibe, we go together. I like her writing style, but I am taking a little break before picking this one up because I've just read Babel and I feel like I need to read a few other stories before diving into this one and like fully being able to enjoy it. So quite a while ago, I've read the first chapter of this, so I know a bit what it's about. It's about Rin and she's doing the Keiju, which is this sort of test to find the most talented students. And then she gets into this elite military academy, the Synagogue, and from there on out, she sort of trains for the war. So again, set at a school. I don't think all of the book is set at the school though. I know that's very heavy on war and politics and layers of society and criticizing the divide between the poor and the rich, like all sorts of themes that apparently come back to Arif Kwong's work a lot. This book is widely adored. So many people love it, think it's really good, so I really want to pick it up very soon. Another newer release on my list is The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. I've recently been reading a non-fiction book about a researcher and I've really enjoyed this, just sort of reading the process of her discovering new things about her research topic and going to old libraries and visiting professors and talking to them to uncover sort of secrets and what is going on and what is truth and what is not. And this seems to be a sort of fictionalized version of such a journey. So I'll read the tagline to you. Behind the closed doors of the cloisters, shocking secrets and a mysterious deck of tarot cards spark a deadly power game within a close-knit group of researchers. So it's set in New York City at a Gothic museum. All I need. Sounds really good. Can't wait to dive in. This book is not too long either, which is really nice because as you've seen, lots of these books on the list are quite big. Then last but definitely not least, I have some cozy fantasy for you guys that I am personally really hyped to pick up. This is Love Potion by Cindy Paul, which has illustrations by Renee Zonneveld. Look at that cover. It's also sort of holographic. It's really cute. And next to that, this story is also filled with gorgeous illustrations. Just look at it. It's so cute. So this is the story of a witch and a princess falling in love. We have Blair, who's sort of this gothic dark witch, and she's been secretly pining after the princess who lives across the road from her. But of course, it's not really okay for a witch to just go and like talk to a princess. That's not something that happens. So she's just pining and longing and like not doing anything about it, which is very relatable to loads of us, I can imagine. Then one day the princess visits her witch's shop and she's like, I need a love potion. And that's where our story starts. I'm immediately so enamored with all these sort of Grumpy X sunshine illustrations where it's just like this adorable princess and then this gothic witch, and I just really feel like picking up a fairy tale storytime book, and that is sort of what this feels like. So I'll definitely give you guys my thoughts on this when I've finished it. Okay, so those were some of the fantasy books that I'm really excited to pick up this winter. Let me know in the comments down below, what fantasy do you want to read this winter? Is there anything I should definitely check out? Don't forget to check out our lovely sponsor, which was Maverick. My code Leo10 is in the description, as well as details details to the giveaway. I want to thank all of you for watching, and if you've made it this far into the video, leave a little snowflake emoji in the comments to let me know that you're still here. Then one last small announcement. I'm currently having a sale in my Etsy shop. Everything is 20% off for 1 week only, so you can shop for the holidays and buy your gifts at a small business, which would be really exciting. So if you guys feel like supporting me some extra and buying some cute bookish goodies for yourself, definitely don't forget to check out my web shop. All the information will be in the link down below. That was all the announcements. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in my next video. Bye!